Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Happy Labor Day, all that good stuff. Hope you guys enjoy the day. Spend it with time and family, reset, recharge, restore, rejuvenate, whatever it is that you need to do. Let's talk WNBA, though. We got 3 games on the board for today. Didn't make a play yesterday. Short list did go 4-1. If you guys were able to tune into the show, hopefully I helped you make some money. I didn't bet any of it, though. Only loser was the Mystics, who had 11 points at the first quarter against the Sparks somehow. They finished right at 78. The team total was 80.5, but Aaliyah Boston stayed under. Kiki Eriefin did go over. The Valkyries got the win, so plus 2.5 was a winner. And then their team total, the Indiana Fever team total under 80.5 was also free last night as well. So let's jump into it for today. Hit the like button for me if you can. Appreciate all the help, support, all that good stuff for the algorithm. Let's jump into it for today. So Jackson, AI Sports Betting Tool, linked in the description. If you guys are interested in checking it out, there is a 50% promo code. Yesterday, Jackson went 1-1, split. Rakia Jackson over 1.5 threes was an easy winner. I think she hit 4. Shakira Austin over 12.5 points. She finished at 11. So 1-1 day for Jackson yesterday. As far as today's props go, Jackson likes 2 bigs. Tina Charles over her 20.5 points plus rebounds. The analysis says that she's been dominant for the Connecticut. She's been a dominant force for the Connecticut Sun, especially when playing at home. She's exceeded the combined points and rebounds 80% of her last 5 games, averaging 24.2. 70% of her last 10 games, averaging 22.7. Her season average for points and rebounds is 22.13, which is already above the line of 20.5. Furthermore, Charles' performance at home has been exceptional. In 19 home games, she's hit the over in 74%, averaging 25 points plus rebounds. This consistent high-level production in front of her home crowd, coupled with the strong recent overall performance, provides a robust foundation for her overpick. While her performance against the Dream this season average exactly 20.5 points plus rebounds in 2 games, her overall trend, and particularly her home games, are statistically strong enough to suggest that she'll surpass the over line today. So over 20.5 for Tina Charles, putting her points and rebounds together. The next look is Nneka over her 25.5 points plus rebounds. Nneka Ogwumike of the Seattle Storm. Jackson says that she's poised for a big performance against her former team, the Los Angeles Sparks, while her overall hit rate in her last 5 games is only 40%, averaging 22 combined points plus rebounds. Her performance against the Sparks has been exceptionally strong, making this an attractive look. So her games versus the Sparks, she's consistently hit the over. When facing the Sparks this season, she's over in 2 of the 3 games that they played, 66.67%, averaging an impressive 35 combined points plus rebounds. Looking back at the 2024-2025 season, she was even more dominant, hitting over 75% of her matchups, averaging 30.25 points plus rebounds. Those numbers are well above the 25.5 line for today. Home court advantage, playing at home this season, Nneka is over 52.6% of her games, averaging 27.4 combined points plus rebounds. This indicates a consistent ability to perform at a high level in front of her home crowd. We know that the Sparks defense is terrible. I don't really want to read all this, but it says that they've shown significant defensive struggles, particularly inside. They are noted as a bottom 4 club in paint points, 39.4, and second chance points, 11.4 per game in their last 10 contests. The defensive rating of 108.6 is described as a ripe target, and they play at the WNBA's fastest pace, 80.5 possessions per game. This combination of a vulnerable interior defense and a fast pace creates ample opportunities for Ogwumike to rack up points and rebounds. Considering her historical performance against the Sparks, her strong performance at home, and the Sparks' defensive weaknesses, I expect her to surpass 25.5 points plus rebounds in today's matchup. I actually like both of those looks today. I might end up taking those, especially the Nneka one makes a ton of sense. We just talked about Kiki Eriefin yesterday. If you guys had a chance to listen in, they give it up in the paint, man. I mean, it's soft down there in the paint. So let's jump into the matchups. We got the Dream and the Sun up first. James are on the road. They are laying 10.5. It looks like is consensus. Let me just double check these spreads real quick at the time of this recording. Yeah, some 10.5s out there. I feel like I saw 11 too. And then the total is coming down. It's I saw 160, now 159.5. I see 158 as well. I'm sorry, 158.5. So really just shop around, especially if you know, whatever side you want to be on. So we look at the injury report first and foremost. We have Olivia Nelson Ododa listed as questionable. She missed that last game with a back injury when they lost to the Minnesota Lynx. And then Jordan Canada is listed as questionable. She also missed that last game that they played when they blew out the Dallas Wings the other day. So Atlanta is a half a game behind the Las Vegas Aces for the second spot in the standings, but they also tied with the Phoenix Mercury, have the same exact record. They just own the tiebreaker over Phoenix, and Phoenix is at fourth. So Carl Kolesko, I think is how you pronounce his name, Komesko, whatever his name is. He did come out and said that they want to have the best, playoff, the best seeding spot. So am I expect them to win the game? Yes. Do I expect them to play hard? Yes. Do I think that they're going to cover as a 11 point, pretty much 11 point favorite on the road? I got to pump the brakes there. I look back at the head-to-head matchups. Atlanta did win the first one. They beat them by 24, but then they lost the second one outright by 11. I'm sorry, lost by 8 as 11-point favorite in that game. And Atlanta's offense is it's a little Jekyll and Hyde. I know they got to 100 points against Dallas, but Dallas is probably the worst defensive team in the WNBA right now. We'll talk about them in just a second. I kind of think Connecticut can cover the spread. These are two teams going in complete opposite. I wouldn't even say the complete opposite direction. I think Connecticut is playing a lot better recently. Couple things I looked at. So Connecticut just plays a lot better at home. And I just think the line's a little bit inflated. Home dogs off a loss facing an opponent that's off a win, which is the situational spot for Connecticut. They cover 62% this season. They're 23-14. If they're getting double digits, they're 10-4 against the number as well. So I think Connecticut can keep it close. Connecticut have a 0 net rating, which means that they're about even in their last 5 games. Atlanta's just a +8. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction. Atlanta, winning by 22 versus a depleted Dallas team. Connecticut, coming off a loss to the Minnesota Lynx, the best team in the WNBA, when they were coming off a loss, and they lost that game by 20. I think it was 24. Connecticut is also 8-4 against the number in their last 12 games when they get double digits, 6-4 against the spread if they're double digit home dog as well. I think Connecticut can keep this one, reasonable. As far as the total goes, Atlanta has only been playing at unders. They're 9-1 to the under in their last 10 games. Before going over against the Dallas Wings on Friday, they had played at 9 straight unders. And the total in the most recent matchup was 160. It landed on a push. The total in the first game that they played was 158, and that game stayed under. The last 10 meetings are 6-3-1 to the under when these two teams have matched up. The Dream don't have the best offense. In the last 5 games, they're 6th. Connecticut ranks 6th defensively in that same time span. And they're also 11th in pace. Atlanta plays slow, right? 3rd in defensive rating, 2nd in points allowed. In the last 5 games, they're giving up just 73.6 per contest. Another area I looked at was rebounding. I think Connecticut, they've been a really good rebounding team this season. Well, they've been a really good rebounding team recently. On the season, they're 12th. But in the last 5 games, they've been on this hot streak where they've been covering. They're 4th in rebounding. And that's significant because Atlanta is probably the best rebounding team in the WNBA. So I think Connecticut can struggle to score. I think Atlanta also could struggle to score because Connecticut's been playing a little bit better defense. I also think second chance points will be limited for both teams. So I didn't play it, but if I'm betting the game, I'm probably taking the home dog in this spot. I think the under also makes a lot of sense. Don't really want to fade Connecticut right now. They're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. They just caught a pissed off Lynx team in that last one. Second straight home game. I think that they can get the job done. They had covered 7 straight. So that's my thought process. It would be Connecticut plus the points, thinking that the Dream will win, but I don't know if it'll be by double digits. Next one up, Wings and Lynx. Be on this one pretty quickly for a short period of time. I did see James listed as doubtful. She hasn't played in, I think this will be probably her 3rd game she's missed in a row. Helly Jones is also out. Gazel is also out, and then Paige is listed as probable, and she probably gonna be out there playing by herself in this spot. The Lynx don't have anyone on the injury report. This is a tough spot for the Wings, man. They did cover one of the 3 matchups, but Minnesota, they did win the other 2. They've only won by 15 points, so I do think that this line is probably about right. Now, can Minnesota win this game by 20 points? Absolutely. Dallas is like a free-falling knife that you don't want to catch right now. They've lost 7 straight. They lost 9 of their last 10. They've also covered they've also failed to cover 4 of their last 5 games, 4 straight games. I'm sorry, and 5 of their last 6 games. Minnesota, a nice bounce back spot. They did win that game by 24 against the Connecticut Sun the other day. They play in Vegas on Thursday, which could potentially be a look ahead spot, given that the Aces have won, I think, 12 games in a row and will be a lot more rested than the Minnesota Lynx. Granted, the last time the Aces lost was by 50 to this Minnesota Lynx team. So I'm not sure if Minnesota will look ahead in this game or not. Couple things I looked at as far as the total goes. It's hard, right? So if you look at it's hard to project this total because Minnesota has only been playing. Minnesota's the best defensive team in the WNBA. We know that by far. You can see it here. Last 10 games, all those numbers, they just held Connecticut to 63 points. Dallas does play really fast, though. This is a top 3 team as far as pace goes. And I looked at a couple trends, right? So since 2018, when you have rested and untraveled teams versus teams that are unrested and are a lot more traveled, since the All-Star break, those games typically go under about 55% of the time and 64% of the time this season. So that tells me that, maybe long-term wise, we see it under here. I'm not sure how many points the Wings are going to contribute. I do think that Minnesota can score. Their team total is like 94.5, and they have been able to get there. Dallas has actually given up 3 straight. They played in 3 straight overs, and they've given up 90 plus in 4 in their last 4 games. So Minnesota should be able to score. Minnesota's also played 3 of their last 4 games up and over the total offensively. They're clicking. They've gotten to 94 better in 3 of their last 4 games as well. So I guess, I watched Dallas really struggle to score in certain parts of that game on Friday, and they still were able to get to 100. I guess Minnesota should be able to score as well. I do kind of want to share a player prop in this game that I think could absolutely be money for today. So if we go over to Outlier, minimize myself. This is Courtney Williams. This is her assist prop. Courtney's in a really good spot today. So her assist assist line is 6.5. You see that she is under this number more than she's over. So only about 48%. But this is the best matchup she's probably gonna get, right? She's coming off a game. If we just zoom into the last 10, she's coming off a game. She's only over in 4 of the last 10 games, but she's coming off a game where she only had 4 against Connecticut. And I talked about liking her in this spot as well. Now she gets an even better matchup, a team that plays even faster, a team that plays even worse defensively, a team that allows even more assists. You can see that Connecticut allows the most assists in the WNBA, and she just had double-digit assists in back-to-back games. So I like it. I think, looking at her head-to-head matchup, you can see that the 3 matchups she's played so far this season, she's had at least 7 or more, 7, 8, and 9. And Dallas allows the most assists in the WNBA. They're also the worst defensive rated team in the last 5 games. So Courtney Williams, from an assist perspective, makes a ton of sense. Like I said, I know she missed it in the last one, but that's probably where I would look as far as player props go in this game. Kayla McBride threes. Dallas also gives up a ton of threes as well. So those are looks. I can't bet this game, though. Maybe something live if Minnesota comes out and they're playing with their food early, but nothing for me pregame. I kind of want to bet under, but Dallas defense so bad I can't. Last game on the board is the Sparks and the Storm. So this line opened, I think I wrote down 6 yesterday. Total was 174. We've seen the line money come in on the Storm, pushing this up to 8, 8.5. It looks like it's consensus now. And the total coming down 174.5 yesterday, down to 172.5 right now, about 173-ish. So injury report, Sparks, of course, can put people on the injury report. This is the second leg of a back-to-back for them. And then Dominique Malunga is listed as questionable with a wrist injury. She didn't play in that last game when Seattle was able to get the job done against Chicago. Didn't cover it, but they got the job done. So you look at the spot here for the Sparks. I talked about not liking the Sparks yesterday. No way I was laying close to double digits with them. They won the game by 3, put themselves in a little bit of a pickle for today's game because you would have liked to get some rest, even though it is pretty short travel from LA to Seattle, of course. but they're 2 games behind the Indiana Fever for the last game in the standings. So they desperately need every single win. They only have so many games left. I think maybe 3 or 4 games left for the Sparks. So they need everything to go in their favor. And they definitely need the Storm to lose as well, because they're 2.5 games behind the Storm and the Golden State for a potential playoff spot, and then 2 games behind Indiana. So they kind of need a team to free fall and just kind of fall flat on their face, while they also need to win. So in a game like this, I feel like you got to take the points with the Sparks. Also, like, the Sparks, this is when you want the Sparks, when they're getting 8 points, not when they land 8 points, which is what you saw yesterday. They're 10-8. The Sparks are straight up on the road, 10-7-1 against the number. They've covered just 2 of their last 10 games, though. They've been playing pretty bad. They also play the Storm really well. They lost the first meeting when they were very injury depleted. They didn't have Cameron Brink. I think they were also missing, can't remember who else they were missing, but they were missing Julie Ottoman, I think, as well. A couple players I think they were missing the first time that these 2 teams played. They lost that game by 31 in the first matchup. But then they beat Seattle back-to-back. Once in Seattle, once in LA. Both they were getting 5 and 4 points in those games. So now they're getting 8. I know they had the rest disadvantage, but I like the Sparks in this spot, man. I think I don't want to lay with Seattle. This team is not great at home. 5-14 against the spread. They're 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 games as well. It is their second straight home game, and they've won 5 of their last 6, but they have not been covering. It is a rare situational spot where they have more rest before and after the game than the Sparks do, but the Sparks need every single win, man. So initially, my thought process was I'll take the Storm team total up and over. The Sparks, as road dogs this season with less rest than their opponent, are 4-0 to the over. They allow average of 95 points per game. They gave up 89 to the Mercury. They gave up 96 to the Aces. They gave up 89 to the Vegas Aces again. And then they gave up 106 to the same Storm team. And then the more and more I thought about it, I'm like, the Sparks desperately need this win. So yeah, Sparks are nothing for me in this game. This is actually the one that I like the most, man. Storm are 1-9 against the spread in home games with a total that's greater than 160. To me, that means that they don't cover games where they're expected to be high scoring. The Storm are also 1-6 against the spread when they're laying 5 points, when they're laying more than 5 points at home. And then on the Sparks side of things, when they're at a rest disadvantage in their road dogs, which they are both in this situation, they're 3-1 against the number. So I want the Sparks getting points, man. I don't want the Sparks laying points. For whatever reason, they've been better on the road as well. And I'm not laying with the Storm. So this is one of those spots where, like, if you guys are really paying attention to the WNBA, whatever gets bet up early is typically what doesn't cash, right? The Storm opened as 7-point favorites, and they end up closing as 9-point favorites yesterday against the Mystics. They lost the game. And the same thing for the Indiana Fever. They ended up, laying, I think, 2.5, 3 points yesterday against the Valkyries, and they ended up losing the game as well outright. So kind of, it's weird because I like to get ahead of the numbers, but you getting better numbers if you just wait and fade whatever is being bet early majority of the season. So those are the 3 games for today, man. Hopefully what I said made sense. But if I'm betting them, this is how I'm looking. Connecticut plus the points. Sparks plus the points. Courtney Williams over her assist prop. And I think Atlanta, Connecticut can go under. Even though this line is starting to move from 160 down to 159.5. We'll see where it goes throughout the day, man. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting. Use the link in the description to get the plays that I make when I make them. Check out the resources. Jackson, Outlier, Moneyballer, Odds Gym, all that good stuff. And do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn the notification bell on. And last but not least, man, enjoy Labor Day. We'll be back tomorrow. 2 more games tomorrow. We'll catch you guys then.